Hello, welcome. Good to see you. Simon here. If you're watching on Thursday, the 11th of May, I hope to see many of you at our annual church meeting down at St. Peter's later today. But for now, a question. What do these have in common? A mirror, lip balm, French mustard, an Aston Martin car, a church organ, and an eyelash curler. Tough, isn't it? Well, they are all luxury items chosen by guests on desert island discs. Now, of course, you need to know who the guests were, don't you? I'm going to try and tell you without further comment. The mirror was chosen by Simon Cowell. The lip balm by Gok Wan and by Malala. Boris Johnson chose French mustard. George Michael wanted the Aston Martin. Joe Brand elected for a church organ, and Darcy Bussell wanted the eyelash curler. I wonder what you would choose. Now, in the unlikely event that I was ever asked to be on Desert Island Discs, I would choose this. In case you can't see clearly, then I've just put on my blue reader's scarf. There weren't many on show in the coronation service at Westminster Abbey this last weekend, which is a shame, because readers are licensed lay ministers in the Church of England, and it's quite an encouragement when we see us at big events. We're fortunate here in Portishead, as we have always had a healthy number of readers. I am about to celebrate 35 years of being a reader. Yes, I know, I don't look old enough. Oh, and I'm sorry for those of you who have sat through my talks, etc., for the last 30 years or more here in Portishead. I've recently taken on a new role with readers. Now, wait for this title. I am the Assistant Archdeaconry Warden of Readers for Bath Archdeaconry. Wow. The Warden and I have pastoral oversight for the 100+ readers that are in our part of the diocese. A privilege for me is that I get to receive the wide-ranging annual reviews that readers have to compile. Traditionally, readers have been preachers and teachers, and we still are. But now there are reader chaplains, readers who lead food banks, and pioneer readers. With full-time clergy numbers going down, it's not uncommon to find readers being the effective leader in a significant number of parishes. One cloud on the horizon, though, is that the army of readers is an aging one. Yes, we may have wisdom on our side, but we need the vim and vigour that our younger colleagues would bring. Reader ministry is one that requires training and commitment from both the individual and from their families and supporters. But it is a good way of taking one's service to God and His Church to a next level. If you have ever thought about looking good in a blue scarf, then please have a word with me or Graham or Mary. A lot of callings actually happen due to the proverbial tap on the shoulder. So could you think of a Christian who would make a good lay minister, who would bring their experience of the world into church leadership? If so, please encourage them and pray for them. And while you're at it, please pray for me, for Graham, and for Mary as well. Thank you. Back to my scarf. You may just be able to make out that I wear on it a small badge. It's the symbol of trade justice. It's unequal scales. And it's my way of remembering that whenever I lead worship, when I'm dressed in my robes, that for many in our world, they don't have the choices or the resources that I have, nor indeed the freedom to worship that I have. The greeting of the choir boy to King Charles at the start of the coronation service, and his reply, and that the divesting of the king's robes later in the ceremony tried to underline this as well. We may not have been directly involved in the coronation, but Christian Aid Week, which is next week, is our chance to remember inequity in our world. One of my favourite but very challenging Bible passages which tackles this area is from the prophet Isaiah. Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen? To loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke? To set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter? When you see the naked, to clothe them and not to turn away from your own flesh and blood? Then your light will break forth like the dawn, and your healing will quickly appear. Then your righteousness will go before you, and the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard. Then you will call, and the Lord will answer. You will cry for help, and he will say, Here am I. That's from Isaiah 58, if you would like to look it up for yourself. So from the Bible's perspective, it's much less about luxury and much more about justice. God bless. See you soon.